Good morning, class, and welcome to your virtual course. My name is Dr. Araipur. I have sent you several emails regarding the course, asking you to explore the course as of 2 weeks ago. And when you go to the homepage of Canvas, the setup is very simple. I have put numbers that you just follow. Number one, welcoming you to the course. There's a welcome message. It's a short clip welcoming you to the course. I'm very happy to have you here. Number two is the class philosophy. We're going to go over that in a moment. Number three, announcements. Number four, under number four, you find syllabus, modules, homework, so on. And all you have to do is just follow the numbers. So let's go to number two, class philosophy and course objective.
Class philosophy. This class is a community and therefore, we all have the same objective, to learn. Online students often feel isolated, but it is vitally important to know you are not in this alone. I would like each of you to approach our online class with a great attitude and a willingness to help one another. Many problems and questions can be resolved by asking a fellow student. I am always here to help you, but I truly believe your experience will be more fruitful if you communicate with your fellow students as well. Let us work together to make this a memorable semester for each and every one of us. Course objectives. The objectives of our pre-calculus course are about exploring the relationship between advanced algebra topics and trigonometry. Pre-calculus is an informative introduction to calculus. Therefore, this course serves as a preparation for calculus. The topics covered include a review of algebra, polynomial, rational, exponential, logarithmic, and trigonometric functions, applications of trigonometry including complex numbers and vectors, systems of equations and inequalities including matrices, sequences and series, and topics from analytic geometry. Instructors' contact information. Email me via Canvas or use the email address maraeipur@lbcc.edu, and I reply from Monday to Friday within 24 hours.
Going back to the home page of Canvas, number three is the announcements. I'm going to put this in student mode. And whether you click on the announcements here or in the left navigation bar makes no difference. These are the announcements that have been sent to you. The nature of the announcements is that I set them up in such a way that they will be also emailed to the students. However, if you miss the email for any reason, you can go under the announcements and find them. So there was a recorded orientation, there was an old one and a new one is coming up. I put it right here when the new one becomes available, meaning this one. Welcome and orientation, it talks about the time you're already here. Then I sent several emails regarding the course starting as of 2 weeks ago. I mentioned the course starts in a couple of weeks and you can explore the course. So those are the announcements that have been sent to you. And more announcements are coming throughout the semester. The next one is number 4. And the first one under number 4 is the syllabus. Under the syllabus, you have the syllabus, also the Excel calendar. So when we click on that, first, it's welcoming you to the course. Second, it gives you a number of topics because Nowadays, the syllabi are getting huge, and having topics is helpful. If you don't want to go through the whole thing, you can look at a topic of interest. For example, the grading policy. So it starts with the course information, such as section number and the time that we meet, course objectives, topics. The text, you can find it here. Also, when we go through my open math, you can find it there. Class calendar. There are several exams. Every few weeks we have an exam. And I've set up every exam to be taken on Saturday. The week of the exam, as of Monday, you receive an email regarding the exam, including its password. You may take the exam anytime before it expires. And notice this piece of information: start no later than 8 or 9 p.m. It expires at 11:59 p.m. Because just for the sake of argument, if you start on that day at 11 o'clock, you have only 59 minutes. And there will be no proctorio. It is strongly advised to watch the recordings of practice test exams for success in the course. All exam reviews are recorded and can be found under the recorded practice test lecture tab in Canvas. I will be available during the designated class time and student office hours to address any questions. Note all exams expire at 11:59, so you don't want to, start it way too late just to be on the safe side. You have the important dates, calculators. Graphing calculators are required as a helpful learning tool, but you may not be able to use it for all the exams. I believe students shouldn't pay for anything, including calculators. So these are some of the online calculators that are for free. Tech support for the publisher, My Open Math, the Canvas, Campus, Distance Learning, again, Canvas support. Math Success Center is the tutorial center, which is free for the students. And here's their website, and they are available at both campuses, LAC and Pacific Coast. Grading policy. Online homework is worth 300 points. The way the online homework is set up, you can do it before the due date, and it doesn't matter how many times it takes you to get a question right. And normally students do a good job of that, 95% and higher. There are 4 exams, each one is 100 points. The final is also 300 points. It's a point system, gives you a total of 1,000 points. 90% or higher is an A, that means 900 points or more. 80% or above, that means 800 to 899 is a B, and the rest follows. Basically, there is no makeup test unless you have a valid documentation. And bear in mind, you have the entire week to take the exam, as long as it's done before the due date, so that should take care of the business. Also, your lowest grade before the final may be replaced by the final exam score. If the final score is good, meaning B, 80% or higher, Your homework grade is good. That means 95% or higher. And more importantly, this action will result in a higher letter grade. If we do all of the above, and your course grade of, let's say, B remains as B, it defeats the purpose. There's no reason to do so. If you fail to take an exam, you will receive 0 point for that exam, and it will not be dropped or replaced if a student has a serious and compelling reason that meets university guidelines. Documentation is required. A makeup exam may be granted. Course late work, some of the assignments you may use a late work with a 10% penalty. I highly recommend you avoid that, because based on my experience, those who use the late pass, normally they don't finish the course. There are more informations here. One of them that I find interesting is called CSULB Study 36, and you can look up the website. And in short, what it says is that we need to spend 3 times the number of units hour per week to do well. In this case, 3 times 5. It's a 5-unit course, so we need 15 hours per week to do well in this course. 15 hours per week for a course like this. Dropping policy: if the student misses the orientation, doesn't register with the publisher within 24 hours, misses the first assignments or any of the exams. More useful websites such as DSPS and financial aids. Summary steps to success in this course: you want to study the PowerPoints in each module. Do your homework before the deadline under the module link. And it's important to know that you can watch the video lectures sometimes embedded in the homework in My Open Math. And by the way, I'm going to refer to it as MOM, short as MOM from now on. Study the practice test and their solutions. Take the exam by their due date. Here's the office hours, which is posted also at the bottom of the home page of Canvas. The time and the Zoom meeting. More interesting and helpful websites such as Basic Needs, Justice Scholar Program. Here's what we call Netiquette for online learning, and ultimately is the same as coming to class. We really, the bottom line is it's all about respect. We want to be professional and courteous towards one another. We are college students. We have to use the correct spelling and grammar. We always want to use a positive tone. Follow the guidelines. Be respectful of one another. And of course, know where you are in a cyberspace. So that's the syllabus, everybody. Here's the Excel calendar that gives us the date of the exams that are coming up. Also, we have introduction to My Open Math, which is due immediately, and algebra review. We'll discuss that later. And going back to the home page, after the syllabus, we have the modules. Under the modules, we can find practice test, homework, exams. So before I do that, I want to explain 2 more things here. On the left navigation bar, I want to show you the discussion forum and then Math Success Center. So discussions, I have student bios and I put mine as a sample. Again, you don't have to, but if you like to share your bio with a fellow student, that'd be fantastic. And if anybody wants to answer or make a comment, please be courteous and with utmost respect to your fellow student. Use encouragement and encouraging words that be great. For example, you find someone who is interested in the same major as you are, you can always, encourage him and give him your opinion by all means. The next one is called frequently asked questions. Students have been asking questions that I found them general and many do. I put them here, and if more questions come up, I will add to this compilation. The only thing is, before you send the question, please read this FAQ, frequently asked question. For example, how to use a math editor. Do I need a course ID for my Open Math? The answer is no, and so on and so forth. So please take a look at this. It's just a few questions, doesn't take long. Those are the discussion forums. They have added this student hangout forum, and basically it's not being monitored. Again, I'm assuming if you want to use that and get together, work on your assignments or anything, that's fine with me. The only thing is that we always follow the etiquette and respect one another. Going back to the home page, again, before I go to the modules, on the left navigation bar, Math Success Center. So when we go to their Canvas homepage, they are welcoming you to the Math Success Center. Virtual front desk. Try our new virtual front desk. The MSc is on Discord. Click here to join our community. Check out all the services. We have tutoring, free calculator loan program. As far as I know about this program class, it's first come, first serve. So they have limited number of calculators. Excuse me. So you want to, if you need a calculator, you can contact them as soon as possible. Resource library, etiquette guidelines, net tutor, contact us. Free walk-up or drop-in tutoring, in-person help, online help, again, the Discord here. We have statistics tutorials, stats bootcamp, math bootcamp, math for physics workshop, other campus resources. Please take a look at their homepage, and if you need help, they are available. I'm going to go back to the homepage of our own Canvas. And now, before I click on the modules, I want to remind you, at the bottom of this page, we have the office hours right here. However, right here where it says Tech Connect Zoom, this is where you find your class. To attend all class meetings online via Zoom, you have to click on Tech Connect Zoom and then join. So those are two different things. Don't mix them up, okay? So again, going back to the homepage of a Canvas, at the bottom, you find the office hours. On the left navigation bar, you click on Tech Connect Zoom to join the class. All right, the next thing I want to look at is the modules. What do we find there? I'm going to explain what you find there and then we cover it. My open math, this one is where you find my open math, and I'm going to look at it at the end. Recorded lecture practice test. Then the first 3 weeks, we're going to cover module 1. And each module is very similar. So each module starts with practice test, PowerPoints, and then the key to the practice test. So I'm going to look at those in a moment. The next module, the same thing, the next module, the next one, and the next one. Also, at the end, we have a module which is really a resource of a TI calculator. I want to quickly show you that one first. So at the end of the module, you find this, which is a PowerPoint, and you can download it if you want. On this page, first and foremost, I have the website that if you can make it work, you can download an emulator for a TI calculator. If you could make it work, it will look like this. And again, the reason I say if you could make it work, because in my own case, sometimes for some computers I made it work and for others I couldn't. Okay, so it's very difficult. And sometimes it doesn't work. But if it works, it looks like that. However, right here, and I put some online calculators under the syllabus, you remember that. Right here, these are some online calculators that are free. Ultimately, I believe students shouldn't pay for anything. And so you can find various methods to get around this as far as the calculators are concerned. And as you go through that, these are different commands for a TI calculator. Okay. All right. So this is, as I mentioned, the very last part under the module. So I want to go back and I want to look at module 1. So what do we begin with? Module 1, just like any other module, begins with the practice test. I suggest you take a few minutes to read this practice test, maybe 5 minutes, because it gives you the synopsis of what is being covered in this module. Then as you go through the PowerPoints and homework, all you have to do 1 or 2 questions daily. That's all. Just 1 or 2 questions. What comes after the practice test? These are the PowerPoints that are the lectures in class. You have access to them with details. If you download them, and put them in slide mode, you won't see the entire page, but rather paragraph by paragraph. When you come across an example, you don't see the entire example, you just see the question and then the answer line by line if you put them in slide mode. and you continue with that. Those are the PowerPoints, everybody. So the first one is a practice test. The next one is the PowerPoints we need to cover for that module. The last one is the key to those practice tests. So this was the practice test, everybody. These are the PowerPoints. And now the key to the practice test. Some of the questions may have a more detailed solution. Going back to the modules, again, module 1 as the practice test, PowerPoints, key to the practice test. And what is this one? Recorded lectures, practice test, exam reviews. You can call it practice test or exam reviews, is the same thing. This 2024 is coming up, right? As we are going to do the recording. If you look at this one, the one before 2023, those practice tests, you can find the detailed solution here in my YouTube channel, step by step, recorded. So for example, here it says module 1, chapter 1. Module 1, chapter 2. Module 2, chapter 3, all the way to the end. So we do have for each module, we have the practice test, we have the PowerPoints, we have the key to the practice test, and we do have the recorded solution with details as it was mentioned. Now, over here, please understand the new one is coming up. This is 2023. What comes after that? And we'll discuss that the week of the exam. Instruction on taking exams in my open math. And also the lectures for Math 50. And we are updating those. So you can find all of them. So going back to the modules. When you go through the next module, is the same way. You have the practice test, PowerPoints, the key to the practice test, and the recorded version. Now, what I want to do, let me put this. Now, what is the very first one? If you view this as a student, and you click on the first one, it takes you to register with My Open Math. You either have a username and password because you already have registered with them, or you create an account. So I want to make sure we understand what's happening here. Let me take this out of the student mode. Under the modules, the very first one, when you click on, you register with My Open Math. We will do this later on. For now, let me close some of these. So When you register, it will take you here to Math 50 by my Open Math. So what do you find there? First and foremost, at the very top, the very first assignment, Introduction to my Open Math. I will show you in a moment. Next, we have the algebra review. The purpose of that is to check your prior knowledge of mathematics so you can move on. I put the exams next, so nobody feels lost in the past. I've seen students having a difficult time finding the exams. You don't have to worry about that yet, but when the time comes, we'll discuss that further. So I put all of this at the top. The next one is the course description. The next one is the calendar. I want to explain the calendar. First of all, this number 4 is the number of weeks. You can make it smaller, less, or more. The very first assignment is coming up right here. The next one in a couple of days. Look at the exam date, and the day before the exam, you have a bunch of homework. Please understand the meaning of it. Should I do all the homework on that day? Absolutely not. Besides the fact that you won't have time to do that, it defeats the purpose of learning. The reason I have done it this way is because in the past, students, for some reason, they couldn't do it. They were working. They could only do it on the weekend. I didn't want to, have it do on a daily basis. However, you have to do 1 or 2 sections per day if you want to learn and be successful in the course. Then we have several modules. Modules 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are just like we have it in Canvas. So module 1 pertains to the module 1 in Canvas, and that's where we find our homework for module 1 and so forth. But what is module 0? I want to explain that one. As you see by the name, module 0 is called resources. I highly recommend you look at it once and say if you don't need it, you don't. For example, you can find the text here. This is the text based on this text. The difference is this one is available online and it's easier to navigate, but it's your choice, okay? Let me just close this one. So that's the text. The next one, how do you use a late pass, calendar, gradebook? It is explained here. For example, when an assignment expires, if you click on its grade, you can review it. Free online calculators. I gave you a list of those already, and you find some of them here. For example, Desmos is a famous one and a video that explains how to use it. So this module, module 0, is a module containing resources. Module 1 is when the course begins. But what I want to show you is what happens at the very top. If you start any assignment, just as I'm going to do right here, the purpose of this one is for you to get familiar with my Open Math. First, they want us to enter this number. Notice when I click on this box, it gives me this math editor, okay? So I'm going to put the number 80.7787. The next one, I want to put the same number, but rounded to the nearest hundreds. That means the second decimal, which is 7. So 80.7. The next one is 7, and after 7 comes 8, so it goes up to 8. So because a number 5 or larger make it go up. We are dividing by 0, which is impossible. It's undefined. They don't have it. We're going to put D and E or does not exist. If I submit the question, as you can see, they are check marked. They are all correct. And I got my point and it is already registered. You don't have to do anything. It registers that you got the first one. Number 2, I want to answer it wrong on purpose. So you see what happens. 1/3 is 0.3 bar. Let's say it's 0.5. I submit the question and it becomes wrong. I did it on purpose. What happens if I make a mistake? All you have to do, get a similar question. For some reason, it gives you the same question. And I'm going to put 0.3 bar, meaning I'm going to put a bunch of 3s. Okay. If I submit a question, check marks, and it gives me my point. The point being, even if you make a mistake, just get a similar question. That's why sky is the limit. That's why in the past I've had most students doing excellent with the homework. Okay. Now, the moment I press done because something has come up, I can't finish it. It registers those 2 as the points that I've received, and the rest of them are unattempted. As long as I go back and resume before the due date, I can continue and finish the job. All right. Now, if we don't come back to finish it, then this gives us 15.4%. It's been already registered, and that becomes our grade. It's not our grade yet. It just shows that we got 15.4%. Becomes our grade after it expires. But before it expires, I can go and finish the job. If I exit, as I mentioned, I can go back anytime I want and do the job. What I want to show you for the algebra review is the same thing. However, there's a reason I want to show you that, and that is the following. When you answer the questions here, for questions such as this one, some of them have help. In this case, what is the question help? There is a video that can help us in case we forgot the topic. This example not only has a video, it also has a written example. This one also has a written example. Okay. Just for the sake of argument, it's a vertical line. The slope is undefined, so it doesn't exist. D and E they use. This question has a written example. This question has a video. So some of these questions, class, they have help also. And again, I can go back and resume or exit. So I wanted to mention these 2 things as far as and after you're done, as far as you're concerned, you get started with module 1. What do you find there? Chapter 1. If you click on that, it gives you the text. One 1.1, you have a bunch of videos. In the past, I've had students who just watch those videos. That's all they did. And then they could do the video assignment and the assignment. The video assignments, you do it first because basically it has some videos. And normally there are just a few. In this example, we have only 5 questions. And then after the video assignment, you go to the actual assignment. And this one has, I believe, 20 questions. Okay. So your work starts with module 1, chapter 1. Let's recap what we just did. Here's the home page of Canvas. We had a welcoming message. We looked at the philosophy. The announcements were discussed. We looked at the syllabus. Under the syllabus, we have the syllabus and the calendar. It will be always available to you if you want to check it. We mentioned at the bottom of the page is the office hours. On the left navigation bar, Tech Connect Zoom is where we attend the class. Then before we explain the modules, we also looked at Math Success Center. It gave us the Canvas homepage of Math Success Center with all the information. Then we looked at the modules. Under the modules, the very last one is a resource for TI calculator. Then at the top, we were concerned with module 1 only. We have the practice test, PowerPoints, the key to the practice test, recorded lectures, and the very top one, which reads 2024 Fall Math 50, this is where we register with my Open Math, taking us to our digital platform. First, we do introduction to my Open Math. Then we do the algebra review. And then we start with module 1, chapter 1, section 1.1. There are a bunch of videos if you like to watch. First, we do the video assignment 1.1, and then the actual assignment, functions and function notation. So it's pretty straightforward. I hope everybody is comfortable with the concept. I wish everybody best of luck. Happy studying, everybody.